Thank you. I'm sure you appreciate this isn't easy for me, but I can assure you that everything I'm about to tell you is true to the best of my knowledge. I first was abducted by well, it's difficult to say when I was first abducted because of the time differences, whereas we experienced time going forwards. The aliens, one of them particularly, a medium-sized grey called Graham, told me that they experienced time backwards, which obviously makes keeping track of things a bit tricky for them and for us. And anyway, they were saying that it does get quite difficult to keep track of who they abducted when, and what they've done is they've taken to tattooing a number up your ass, and that is really the only way that they can keep track of what's what's going on. Anyway, the first time that I was abducted from actually they said I was asking them about Roswell, which of course they've never heard of because it hasn't happened yet in the way that they experience time, and I was really pleased to be able to tell them about it. Another thing they said is they're very much looking forward to meeting Winston Churchill, who they seem quite excited by stories about him and Hitler, oddly enough, but I didn't let that worry me too much at the time. So anyway, my first abduction took place when I was about 11. I was playing in the park with my grandfather, which was a sign in itself because he died when I was 6. I was looking back, I should have spotted that one really. But he was throwing this sort of frisbee thing. It was a bit like the ones in Tron, and he'd throw it and I'd catch it, and sometimes I'd throw it back to him. But this one time I threw it as high as I could, and it never came down again. You know what I mean? So I went up to have a look for it, and that was when I was abducted the first time. Well, in fact, 3 times that day, but I don't like to brag. I mean, we'll call it just the once, I suppose. Anyway, Graham, the medium-sized grey, he befriended me. It was like I was like an instant chemistry, really. I mean, as the minute that probe touched my body, I knew it was something special. And the two of us have become very friendly over the years. Of course, it's sort of difficult because he's getting smaller and younger all the time, whereas I'm clearly not. But notwithstanding, we've managed. And he's told me a lot about what they're up to. One thing that really surprised me was I said, well, I mean, you blokes have been coming here a lot. There's all these stories about abductions. And he said, well, no, not really. He said, you wait in 20 years and see how many of us the eyes tailing off now. Which, again, it's not easy to keep track with them. I said to him, well, why don't you announce your presence to the world? I mean, if you're here, you'd be ashamed of yourself just because you're grey. And they said they had. And they thought no one was too bothered, and to be honest, I'm a little bit offended. So now they're just coming down to wind us up, really. All this cow mutilation, and I don't know quite what that's about. I mean, they do have music the same as us, and there is a sort of form of death metal that some of the darker greys are into, more your Puces, really. And Graham tells me that mostly it's them doing that. But no, but I mean, honestly, I don't really see what's wrong with them. You know, it's always very much I've had the sort of philosophy, live and let live. You know, I mean, the probing, you know, the probing is a contentious issue, but, you know, got to pay your ticket fare, haven't you, to see the show. And it has been a stretch at times, though, for me.